Lesson 10.2, we're extending this a little bit with radicals and simplifying because of problems just like 13 to 16. When it is a radical that involves two terms in that denominator, you have to multiply by something called the conjugate of this. So we have a problem like number 13, radical 4 over 3 minus radical 5. So what you have to do in that situation is multiply top and bottom by what's called the conjugate of the bottom. The conjugate is the exact same two terms, 3 and radical 5, but you change the sign, plus. So 3 plus radical 5. Okay, so you multiply top and bottom by those same two terms, just change the sign, and I think you'll see what happens here in a minute. So if I deal with the top, it's going to be a distributive property with radical 4 through that expression. So it's going to be 3 radical 4 plus radical 20. Kind of crazy having radical 4 anyway, isn't it? What is radical 4? 2. And we'll take care of that in a minute. On the bottom you're going to do FOIL. So first would be 3 times 3, or 9. Outer would be positive 3 radical 5. What's the inner going to be? The negative of that. Negative 3 radical 5. See why you multiply by the conjugate? That's going to fall out. And then when I get to the last term, it's a negative times a positive. So negative radical 25. Okay, trying to clean this up a little bit. Up there on the top, I'm going to make that 3 times 2 plus radical 4 times 5. And on the bottom, I want you to be aware that these two middle terms should always cancel out. And I would be left with 9 minus 5, just like that. Okay, and then continuing on, 6 plus 2 radical 5, because that 4 came out as the 2, over 4. At this point, you need to check if every term has a common factor, you can cancel it out. And we're not talking about under the radical sign. That doesn't really count. That's something different. But any of the constants and the number in front, if they have a common factor, you should cancel them out. And look, they're all even. It's a 6, a 2, and a 4. So we're going to cancel out a 2 in each one of those. So 3, 1, and 2. Making this 3 plus radical 5 over 2. And that would be your final answer. 3 plus radical 5 over 2. Okay, I want to try another one of those. Number 14. Number 14. So radical 8 over 2 plus radical 3. I multiply top and bottom by the conjugate, which would be 2 minus radical 3. Again, the top in this case is going to be just like a distributive. So 2 radical 8 minus radical 24. The bottom is a FOIL. The bottom is a FOIL of these two. So first, 2 times 2 is 4. Outer, negative 2 radical 3. Inner, positive 2 radical 3, those should always be exact opposites. That's why you do this. And then last would be positive times negative, so negative radical 9. And again, that'll always be a perfect square. So I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. 2 times, and on the top I'm going to put 4 times 2 underneath that one. What should I put under for radical 24? 4 times 6. Okay, and then this, I want to show you that these two will definitely cancel out. And I would be left with 4 minus 3. Okay, now this 4 comes out as a 2, but there's already a 2 out there. So 4 radical 2 minus this 4 comes out 2 radical 6 over 1. And then you get to the point where you don't even have to write the 1, it would just be this. So it's just like simplifying a fraction. So 4 radical 2 minus 2 radical 6. All right, we're going to do one more. 16 radical 8 over 2 radical 7 plus 4 radical 10. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate there, which is 2 radical 7 minus 4 radical 10. Okay, again, the top is distributive. So 2 radical 56 minus 4 radical 80. The bottom being a FOIL. First, now you got to be a little more cautious here. When I take 2 radical 7 times 2 radical 7, it's 4 radical 49. That's first. Outer, okay, so 2 radical 7 minus 4 radical 10 would be negative 8 radical 70. Inner, positive 8 radical 70. And last is going to be minus 16 radical 100. Everybody good with that? It's going to turn out, everything's going to become integers there on the bottom. Again, just like the other ones, the outer, inner, and the middle will be opposites and they'll just go away. We got a lot of simplifying to do here. So let's try to check this out. So starting over with the top, 2 radical, so 56, 4 times a 14, minus 4, and then 80 is 16 times 5, over, so 4 times 7, minus 16 times 10. I'm just simplifying all the radicals. Okay, if I look at the top one more time here, the 4 comes out as a 2, and there's already a 2 out there. So that's going to make it 4 radical 14 minus, so the 16 comes out as a 4, and there's already a 4 out there. So 16 radical 5. The bottom is going to be 28 minus 160, so negative 132, I'm presuming. Okay, a couple of things are going on here now. One is that that negative really shouldn't stay at the bottom like that. So we're going to pull that out in front. Also, every term has a factor of 4. So I'm going to put the negative out in front. And if I cancel a 4 out of every term here, that becomes a 1. That becomes a 4. That one would become, I'm thinking, a 33.
Yeah, 33.
33? Okay. So we're going with radical 14 minus 4 radical 5 over 33. I took the negative out in front. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Questions about that? The signs are a little funny there because there's a negative on the bottom. Okay.